Hi guys, welcome to Flash Fact. Today we're going to try to take a look at what it means to be a premium player. Essentially, I let my subscription expire so that we could take a look at the restrictions you have when you play as a premium player. It's been very difficult. I'm like a crack addict. I'm dying to purchase my legendary back right away, but for the next I don't know 2 or 3 days, I will try to hold on and not renew. I'll wait probably until Monday to renew my subscription. So it'll give us some time to play either with the end game character like my Magneto, or even using some lower level characters like let's say our Doctor Strange, and see how life as a premium player actually is. So right off the bat, actually, you can see that essentially I'm locked at 22 characters. So I had to select, since I had a lot of characters, had to select about 10 characters and I'm at the max. I cannot purchase any more characters. So even though a lot of those characters I pay for them, I did not. I don't have access to them anymore. So that's sad, but that's how it goes. So essentially, even if you would like to purchase like 32, essentially all 32 slots, that's not an option. So you're once you So if you have the maximum of 32 characters, your subscription expires, you're going to be locked at 22, and you're going to have to select 10 characters that you're not going to be able to use for as long as you remain a premium player. So let's get started. Let's go to our Magneto. Because there's a lot of things that we need to see with this little guy. Also, as you can see, the backgrounds. By default, I was using either the ranks background or the Mogo background, but that background is gone. So again, also it's not a big deal. It's only a background, but as you can see, you're limited to the amount of background you actually gain access to. So let's get started with our Magneto. So we can see the new patch notes. We can see some of the items that are featured in the marketplace. Not sure why they're featuring the power respect token. Maybe there's a new power coming up and they're hoping people will switch. I have no idea. And as you can see, they're featuring a few legends. So to get started, let's go back to our base. Actually, let's not. Let's wait a bit. Where am I? Oh, there. So essentially, if we look at this little vendor, we're going to see that we seem to still be able to purchase the gear from this vendor. Even though we don't have the episode, the gear seems to still be available to us. Uh, I assume the only reason I cannot purchase it is because I don't have the marks of victory I need. So I assume if I had 40 marks of victory, I could purchase all those. Let's look at the other
Hello, combatant.
one. There we
The
go.
authorized number of
So I assume
trading cards
I
can
could
be
purchase
exchanged for
the mask if
sections
I
of
had
state-of-the-art
the
combat
headpiece if I had
equipment.
52 marks of victory. But if I go down, okay, so you see the plans essentially requires episode 22. So somehow they don't seem to have locked the style. Of course, if you don't have marks of victory and you cannot earn marks of victory, you won't be able to purchase those styles. But the plans, at least those seems to be locked. And obviously, of course, you won't have access to. Let's go ahead. Since we're right here, we shouldn't have access to Central City. Let's see, we need lightning strikes, and the same will be true with the Mogo, with the Gotham Under Siege, and all those other places. So let's go back to our base. And if you look at my utility belt, you can see that I still have access to the oh, wrong one, to the breakout trinket. But I'm pretty sure that it's only because essentially my oh no, it's locked. Okay, so you can see my for my last lot, I still have access to the trinket because my rent is still paid for 2 days, but the other trinket became locked. Let's try to see. And I do not have the 5 marks of victory. Let's see if I could do the vault. I'm pretty sure I would not be able to unlock the belt again. I'm missing only one. Let's see if we can do the vault. So essentially, if once I did the vault already. So once your subscription expires, you pretty much lose access to everything. You lose access to your as soon as the rent goes out on your utility belt, you're stuck. You won't be able to purchase it again. And the same goes with your mainframe. As soon as your oh, let's replace the cells. No, I cannot. So essentially, you can see my cells are drained to zero. I cannot replace them. So obviously, everything in my mainframe no longer works. Let's go downstairs and see the generator. So you can see all my armories are locked. I no longer have access to any of my armories. And obviously I won't have any of those bonuses because I cannot activate the generator or the mainframe. Essentially I cannot replenish the cells. I'm not sure if the cells would be, I'm pretty sure even if the cells were active I wouldn't have access to anything. We'll test that out on, I have some other characters that should should still have some powers in those cells, so we'll see how it goes. But as you can see, all my armories, that's no longer available. Even though, other than the free one, I paid, essentially you need to purchase those. So I paid to purchase all of them, but I no longer have access to them at all. To show you right away. Like if I go here, obviously, yeah, there's no way I can use them. And even if I go on the armory itself and I try to activate it, it tells me that I need the proper DLC pack for that. So essentially, I'm locked into the last armory I used. So this was the armory I was wearing when my subscription expired. So I'm unlocked using that armory. I have access to nothing else. I'm surprised though that I kept my base. I was sure it would revert to the dive. There's like a much smaller base that's about only the size of this room, more or less. So I thought it would revert to that base, but apparently it does not. So and obviously, if we look at the on duty menu, so for the vault, when you're premium, I think you have access to the vault like 2 or 3 times a week. I don't recall exactly, as opposed to every day as a legendary player. And you have access to the various events. Like right now, we have the Smallville Legend and the Legend Practice. That's pretty much all there is at the moment. Although when the Valentine seasonal was still going, I had access to that too. But I didn't play all that much this week, so I didn't really play the last few days of the seasonals. So and for the essentially for the on duty menu, you have access to pretty much all the missions up to tier 3. Although for the tier 2 duos, um, you need pretty sure I don't have the DLC. So essentially, no tier 2 duos for me, only tier 1 and then tier 3. And there's a few missions like the first aircraft. Uh, I have the mission still because I purchased the Fight for the Light DLC when it was first released. Essentially, I started playing as a free-to-play player, like Mini, and I became premium maybe 2 or 3 days after I became free-to-play. And I purchased one DLC. I toyed with the idea of maybe just only purchasing the DLCs and not being legendary at the time. But then by the time I'd been playing for about a month, I gave up on that idea and I became legendary. And I've been legendary pretty much ever since. So essentially, First Aircraft, I still have access to it only because I purchased the DLC previously. Otherwise, I would no longer have access to it. And essentially, more or less, you have access to pretty much every missions up to tier 4. There's exceptions, as you saw, with the First Aircraft, with the flashback, the various Gotham Hospital, Riverfront Center, Riverside Hotel. And for the 4 player missions, again, even at tier 4, we have only access to Inner Sanctum, where Word Souls is locked to us. So, and also there's a Coast City. That one also comes with the Fight for the Light DLC. So the only reason I have it is because I purchased the DLC at the time. Let's look at some of the other stuff. Oh, wrong one. And for the 8 player missions, it should be up to tier 4 also, but maybe there's a. Okay, so the tier 4 8 player missions, we don't have access to those. So it goes. If you're a free player, you can do. You can go up to tier 3 only. But you still have access to all the arenas and all the Legends PvP. So essentially, as a free player, you can keep on playing PvP if you wish, and you can keep on playing the events, and you can play pretty much everything up to tier 3, except the tier 2 duos, and that's pretty much it, I guess, for those things. So of course, obviously, you won't have access to, as you can see, all my boosts. I lost my deadly block. I lost my max damage. I lost my fortified blocking. I still need to. And you can see you even lose. Essentially, you use the utility belt pretty much completely because these two should be. Oh yeah, it's because it requires supply drops again. So actually, you keep at least 2 slots in your utility belt, assuming you have things that actually works. So as you can see, the backup sidekicks, mainframe, all that good stuff, no longer works. I don't know. Let's go with that. What else could I put in there? Yeah, I have a lot of crap. Oh, the inventory. I'm sure you've noticed my inventory is pretty full. So essentially, you lose all the inventory, the extra inventory you have as a legendary player, which is a bad thing. So let's see if there's a trinket I could use. Like on those now. Oh, let's go for the. Actually, we have a few. Let's go for that trinket. There we go. So as you can see, you pretty much lose a lot of. You pretty much lose a lot of stuff. I won't bother doing a mission with Magneto because essentially I'm going to be able to. I'm going to go down and do like tier 3 missions. What I'll do instead is that I'll go load another character. Actually, let's look at some other character that could maybe have access to their mainframe. Let's try another one. My rent is paid with my Blackest Batman. Let's take a look. So again, let's go back to our base. So again, as you can see, no more armories. Even though one of those was this is one was a free armory, the other one was purchased. But even if you purchase the armory, doesn't mean you will have access to it. In order to have access to your armory, you also need to have access to your everything in your base. Actually, our sales are down to zero. Pretty sure I had purchased the. Pretty sure my sales were not at zero before, but I could be mistaken. But essentially, it seems to put them at zero by default. You still have access to your amenities. Let's check to be sure. Yeah. So your amenities at least are still working. And as you can see, we still kept our normal base. But you can see also all our cash went to our escrow. So we're capped at each character will be capped at $2,000, and everything else goes into the escrow. Let's take a quick look at the marketplace. Usually, when I'm legendary, I cannot look at the prices of most of the items in the marketplace because if it'll say something like granted. So to this day, I have no idea how much the escrow actually cost. So of course, they're featuring the new episode at the 400 market cash. There's the various bundles. Okay, so we would need to purchase this for like 1,000 market cash, so $10, in order to have access to our lair system and our utility belt, the shield weapon, and all that good stuff. So there is a bundle if we don't want to become subscribers again. Uh, and we can see the various episode packs. And there's the Ultimate Edition at holy crap, essentially $65. But even if we purchased that $65 thingy, we would be locked for the escrow at $3,000. So maybe I can see some people deciding to purchase the bundles, and then we see the various individual episodes. So as you can see, I already purchased Fight for the Light eons ago when it was first released, or actually when free to play was first started. So again, we can see the power sets, which are 600 market cash. Again, I have the light power set by default because I think it came by default with Fight for the Light, if I'm not mistaken, at the time. And for the upgrades, yes, you can see skimming. I would have to pay for that. So the unlimited escrow for 7 days is 500 market cash. Ideally, essentially for twice that, you're legendary. So for half the price of legendary, you you have the escrow for 7 days. Not sure if it's a good idea, but I can understand. And 1,000 cash for escrow, that's never buy that. That's pointless. And whether you have 2,000 or 3,000, the 1,000 extra doesn't matter. Uh, if you want to purchase some escrow, go for the 7 days one, because you're going to be able to have access to all your money, and it's going to allow you to purchase things on the broker. Because with $3,000, there's almost nothing in the broker that you're going to be able to purchase. And if you only want to purchase from the normal vendors, $2,000 is more than enough. Not sure why someone would pay $1 essentially for just 1,000 escrow cash. There's that usually no point to that. So in the various respect token are pretty much the same. The name, additional bank slot option. So the layer system is 500 is $5 essentially. And here you see you have like 10,000 for $2, 25,000 for $4. But for $5, you'll have all the escrows you will have, and you'll probably have hundreds of thousands of dollars as opposed to only 25,000. So you might as well go for the 7 days. You'll have 500, 600, $1 million, which it adds up pretty quickly. So the utility belt at $5, and the shield weapon at $5. And as you can see, I'm maxed at with the amount of characters. I cannot purchase anymore. So that is sad. The base items should pretty much all be the same. Whether you're legendary or not, doesn't matter. You still have to purchase all of that. Anyways, same with the supplies. And the same with the legend characters. The style again, you have to purchase those anyways, whether you're legendary or not. Uh, weapons also, the toys also. So, yeah, so we can see the difference. Not sure if I have complex. Let's go see. And the teleporter, obviously, all your mods for your teleporter no longer works. So all you have access with your teleporter is either the Hall of Doom or the other bases that your character have. Like essentially with my Magneto, I have two other bases. With this little guy, sadly, all he has access to now is the Hall of Doom. And essentially, I want to take a look at the legend characters because I think some legend characters can only be unlocked if you're legendary, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's go check a look. Take a look. It's been like 4 years since the last time I was premium, so there's probably a lot I don't remember or I just didn't know. Seem to be able to purchase all of them. Oh, okay, there we go. So you can see some of the legend characters require you to be legendary in order to be able to purchase them. In the past, some of them used to be linked to certain DLCs, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So it seems to be either you have access to them or you don't because you're not legendary. Is that one the super? I guess bombshells. So what seems to be sort of some of the exclusive quote-unquote legendaries. That's no different than before. Let's take a quick look at the vendors. See if we checked a bit with Magneto before, so we have access to that still. Probably have access to
Greetings
Ursa
from
still.
the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
For now.
Bizarro.
Bizarro hates scary gear.
I'm not going to do all the wings. I'll just check at the vendors and just do this one wing, and I'll assume all the other wings are similar. Let's see our tier 5 do here. Yeah, we still have access to. Oh, we don't have. No, the gear is gone. The gear is gone. Oh, okay. So we don't have access to the tier 5 gear. So I assume the tier 7 gear is an oversight. The fact that we seem to have access to it. Let's look at this little fella here. So this one, everything is still the same since it's PvP anyways.
Enhanced combat armor is now available.
So let's go to the tech wing and see. Take a look at the vendors again, just to be sure. Pretty sure they're renowned.
Gear, that's what I've got. You want some? I take cash.
If you'd care to look, LexCorp offers superior merchandise.
This guy is the element distributor right now.
As one of LexCorp's top operatives, I'm authorized to offer some of LexCorp's most
Oh,
dangerous
as you can see, we don't have access to the
items.
utility belts, of course. Too quickly, that's what happens. Let's go take a look at the Gear 7 vendors on this side to be sure. Okay, so now the gear seems to be available still. Even the belt seems to be available. So it's either it's an oversight or they figured that at tier 7, if you don't have the episode, you're not going to be able to get marks of victories anyways. So maybe they thought it was pointless to lock the gear. And getting like 3 marks of victory a week, it will take you many weeks just to purchase one piece of gear. So I guess they just figured it was pointless to lock the gear. But the plans, they did lock, they did put some episode requirements on the plans. I assume the same won't be true here, although, yeah, the same is true. Let's go see, there's a vendor next to Calabac. Let's go see if it's going to be different. Pharaoh. Yeah, I'm out of shape. I didn't play all that much this week. Okay, so we don't even have access to the little guy. So, no episode, no access. We probably don't have access to New Genesis either. Of course not. No thanks. Let's see. We don't have access to ranks. We don't have access to Themyscira. And again, for the episodes, for the missions, oh, we have access to the vault. do it yet with this little guy. So for the missions, it should be all the same thing as Magneto, but the villain version of the missions. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the for the distinction between premium and legendary, I guess. Later on, I'll try to do a few missions with a few of my low-level characters to see how it goes when you're locked to $2,000, and maybe there's also in the open world there may be a few things you don't have access to that I don't realize yet. So I'll probably spend the weekend playing as a premium player. I'll probably just renew my subscription one day or something like that. So that was it for the showing you the life of a premium player in this universe online for now. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.